Yo, what's up, guys? So today I'm going to talk about why success only comes to the patient. So, as life goes on, oh damn, it's a big B. As life goes on, right? We kind of look at especially when we're young. Like let me start actually talking about when we're young, right? So when we're in, teenagers or young kids, some of us didn't really grow up with, a ton of wealth. We didn't grow up rich. We didn't grow up with a immense amount of things that we can, that we can just, pull out the bank, or immense amount of money we could just pull out the bank. So we don't really see the importance of like long-term building. We kind of just look at the day-to-day because, that's just what is kind of just helping us survive, every single day. We're just looking at, what can we do today to be happy? What can we do tomorrow to be happy? What can we do next week to, be able to just, let our whatever it is, like, just, beat boredom. How can we beat boredom? That's what we're always looking to do. So, what do? Well, we watch Netflix. We play video games, we just, the regular basic stuff. But some of us, we look at it and we're just like, this is, eventually some of us snap out of it and we say, this is this all there is? Like video games, Netflix, and maybe we'll play a couple of sports games around our area, hang out with some friends. But there has to be more to life. There has to be another side of life that's out there. Like, like there's things like Ford One races. There's things like traveling the world. There's things like visiting the Egypt, the mountains and stuff, all that stuff, the pyramids. There's deep sea diving. There's eating like top Michelin star foods. There's riding around in helicopters. There's starting a family, buying a house. There's so many more things to do in life, and we notice that as we get older. But some of us don't know how to access it. Sometimes we're like, okay, maybe we just need a 9-to-5 job, and then after that we can eventually get like all that stuff. We can eventually see the other side of life. But it's not just getting a 9-to-5 job that's going to help us get that, to see the other side of life, to be able to access the other side of life, to be able to not even access, but to be able to afford the other side of life. So, some of the things that we learn over time, and some people don't learn until it's too late, is the fact that we have to be patient. We have to wait, and we have to really invest our money into long-term assets that are going to compound eventually over time. Some people learn that when they're 40 and they're 50. Some people never learn that, and they live paycheck to paycheck, and they keep up with the Joneses, and their lifestyle continues to rise with the more income they make, and then they're not able to really see the other side of life. They kind of get stuck in the same thing, doing the same stuff they were doing when they were teenagers and they were young kids. So when you want to be successful in life, the most important thing to do is to be patient. You have to wait it out, because some of the most patient people, they were able to wait on the returns. They were able to wait 20 years on the Bitcoin rise. They were able to wait 20 years on the index funds. They were able to wait 20 years saving their money, not really even investing it, but just saving it, and then buying a nice property somewhere, a nice villa somewhere, where they can actually see the other side of life that, a certain bracket of income people can't really access. And it's important, if you want to actually be able to access that other side of life, that you have to administer some patience. You have to be able to wait the 10 years. You have to be able to wait the 15 years. You have to be able to do the same things every day and be bored and continue to do it. You have to be courageous and be risk-taking as well. Like, you can't just let, other people that are in, the same income bracket as you try to stop you from leaving that income bracket. Or not even just the income bracket, but the mindset bracket. Because to get to the other income, you have to change your mindset too as well. And to be able to change the mindset, you're going to have people that are in the same mindset bracket trying to tell you that you can't you know, you got to stay in the mindset we're in. You got to stay in the income bracket we're in, because we're all friends. We all grew up here. You know, we all work together. We all, you know, we all know each other's where we live and everything. How are you going to try to escape? How are you going to try to leave this bracket? You know, you're going to have to almost be alone some of the time, because if you can't find anyone who has the same mindset and beliefs as you, who also want to see the other side of life, or who also want to be able to leave that income bracket, they're going to be other people. Not only other people, but other things are going to be holding you back. You know, Netflix holding you back. You know, negative friends holding you back. Negative people around you holding you back. You know, doing the same things you were doing, you know, as a teenager, holding you back. You have to be able to be alone for a little while, focus on your goals, be 100% in them, and do them day after day, year after year, and then you can finally ascend to a different income bracket or different mindset bracket. So these are some of the most important things to do when you're young, because eventually you're going to realize that it was all worth it. It was all, even if it doesn't even work, even if it doesn't even work 5 years later, you're going to look back and say, at least I tried, at least I gave it all I could. You know, at least I did something about my situation, you know, whether it's you don't have a lot of money, whatever it is, at least you put in, you know, the work, at least you tried, at least you did 2 years, and something has to happen. Even if it's minor, something will happen, and it'll continue to happen if you continue to stay focused and consistent and be patient and spend time alone. You're gonna have to spend time alone, because not a lot of people understand, because like I said, they're in the same mindset bracket, they're in the same income bracket, so they're trying to keep you in the same bracket as well. So you're gonna have to spend time alone so you can elevate yourself to a different income bracket, a different mindset bracket, a different finance bracket, a different fitness bracket. You know, you're gonna have to take risks and be courageous. A lot of people, you know, like even when you're doing content, a lot of people, they don't really understand what you're doing. You're gonna have to hold the camera high. You're gonna have to hold the camera high, and you know, who cares who's looking at you recording? You have a different outcome, you have a different belief, you know, you have a different mindset that you want to accomplish. So you have to continue to record, continue to do whatever it is. You want to play basketball, well, you got to go to the gym. Doesn't matter who's watching you. With, you know, if you bring pylons to the YMCA, and your people are looking at you like, who is this guy with the pylons? You know, he's like, this guy's a joke. Doesn't matter. You got to have the pylons, and you got to do the drills. You want to go to the NBA, that's what you have to do. Doesn't matter who's looking, doesn't matter who's watching. That's why I said the people that are in the same income bracket, in the mindset bracket, they're trying to stop you with their limiting beliefs, but you don't have those limiting beliefs, because you know that's what you have to do to get to the next level. So, and guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's just, you know, this is the mindset beliefs you have to have when you're trying to accomplish more. You have to spend time alone. And if you don't spend time alone, then you have to find other people who are also looking to ascend, you know, who are also looking to cross that income bracket, who are also looking to cross the mindset bracket. So guys, like this video, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.